Okay, diggers and coin roll hunters. Well, tonight it's a coin roll hunting kind of night. I stopped by the bank, cashed in all my zinc pennies that I'd sorted from the coppers, and I picked up a few rolls of dimes and a few rolls of nickels. And a couple of those nickel rolls, you can see there's old and sort of a tarnished look. So we're going to hunt for a little bit of silver. And I also picked up 3 bags of pennies to run those through my sorter. I don't know how much of that I'll get to tonight, but we're going to look for some silver in these rolls, and I'm going to use that little machine that's up there, and hopefully if I put if I put a silver coin in the mech, it'll sort the regulars from the silvers. So we're going to give it a try anyway and see how it does, and we'll get back to you and see how we do. Alright, stay with us. Okay, diggers, here we are. I've gotten through the first bundle of dimes, $50 worth, and no silvers. I did get 1 Canadian that you can see there. Sorry about the focus with this thing. The lighting in this room is not very good, and so this cell phone doesn't want to focus very well. But anyway, I'm going to go through the next $50 worth of dimes, see if it yields any silver. Hopefully it will. You know, there is still silver out there, and I'll tell you why. We were at a prayer meeting last night, and they took up a small offering for some nice new banners for the prayer room, inspirational scriptures and things like that, and I put some money in, and then I saw my wife fishing through her coins because she didn't have any paper money on her, and I told her I'd already put some money in, and she was still thumbing through this little bag of change. It's right here. This little bag of change, and she was just trying to get all the nickels, dimes, and quarters out. She was thumbing through it, and I just happened to see this dime, just a glance, and I saw it, and I thought, man, that looked like silver. I mean, you look at the front of that, you can tell. I mean, when you've been doing this for a while, you can just tell. I mean, you just look at this one compared to those in there. There's just a different shine on silver. And yeah, she kept thumbing through them, and I said, wait a minute, I think I saw a silver dime. And I sifted through there, and I picked it out, and sure enough, 1964D, silver dime in circulation. She was just going to drop it in the offering thing. So, they are still out there to be had, and especially in these rolls, usually I guess they come from the Federal Reserve, and they're not going to sort through 1 billion dimes, so there's even the possibility for a mercury dime. I'm not going to hold my breath, but you never know. Anyway, that's the story from last night. You know, a silver dime. Maybe I did better at the prayer meeting than I will in these coin rolls. We'll see. Okay, diggers, coin roll hunters. Not very surprising. Didn't get any silver dimes out of $100 worth. So, we're going on to the nickels. Hopefully we'll have a little better luck in there. Yeah, I'm probably going to keep everything that's pre-1960. It's going to take a little longer to do this because I have to look at each individual nickel for the most part. So, anyway, if I get anything good, I'll be turning this back on and you'll be seeing it. Hopefully we'll get a couple of war nickels. That'd be neat, or a buffalo. Wouldn't that be awesome? I think so. Alright, I'll get back to you. Okay, coin roll hunters. I just did my first 10 nickel rolls. No silver. Not surprised, but came very close. I got 3 in the 40s and 2 in the 50s. That one is a, let's see if we can help out a little bit. Don't know if you can see or read, but that first one is a 1940S. First one on the top right. The other 2 are in the 40s, but not war nickels, and the other 2 are 57 and a 58. So not too bad for the first 10 rolls, and we're going to go through the next 10 and see how we do. I'll get back to you. Okay, so here's the wrap-up of the nickel hunt. I did get quite a few more in the 1940s. I did not get a silver. That's a lot of nickels, $40 worth. But the gem is this one right here. That is a 1939, and right next to it I've got a 1940. So you can see how nice that is. I'd say it's almost AU. And you can see it's a 1939. The one right to the right of it is 1949. So anyway, it was a fun hunt, and maybe a little bit. I'm going to go in and watch the end of the Red Wings game, and then maybe I'll get into a bag or so of these pennies. We'll see how that goes. So no silver with the coinage, but we'll see how we do with the wheat pennies in the pennies here. So stay with me, and I'll get back to you. Okay, diggers. Now I'm going to do the real coin roll hunting. Well, it's actually not coin roll. I call it coin bag hunting, because I've got my first bag opened up. I've got 2 more after that, ready to roll. My real passion, I think, is with the pennies. I didn't have any luck with the nickels or dimes, but I'm going to show you the only thing you really got to do to this machine in preparation to run pennies through it is oil it. So I'm going to try and get a little bit of oil right there, and that's it. You put that oil right there, and then you just sort of work it around a little bit, make sure it's coated in there really well, and we can put it back together. A little puzzle piece, I call it, goes right there. Set the hopper on. I gotta hold it here. Push it down. It seats, as you can see, the slat right here seats up in there. And then on the back side, you just push that little red catch up. That sort of holds it from sliding out in any way, shape, or form. I've already got it plugged in, as you can see by the green light. And I'm going to pick up some pennies and get it stacked up and get it going. So I'll get back to you maybe after the first bunch. Probably do this in 5 to 6 increments, so we'll see how it goes. Okay, as you can see, the hopper's full, and just something I want to share with most of you guys. If you're coin roll hunting, pick up some of these rubber gloves, because I had heard that handling copper for extended periods of time it can be poisonous, and I actually looked it up and found out that it's true. So if you're going to be doing big handful after handful, put them in here, you know, and besides that, they're nasty, they're really dirty. You can see, you know, I sorted a bag with these gloves already, and you can see, yeah. So okay, I've got my hopper full, and I've got my gloves on. There you can see the bags. And now all I got to do is get my tubs out over here and get them in the right position, and I can flip this baby on and get to sorting. So, wish me well. I hope I do a lot better than I did with those dimes and nickels. I really only found a few nickels that were of any significance to me. Nothing silver. So all that'll be going back to the bank. But I did get that one really nice 1939 nickel. It was in, you know, better than VF, so I was happy with that. But anyway, here we go with the pennies. I'll get back to you if we find something interesting. Okay, diggers, after the first round, and I'm sorry, the lighting is really poor here, and that's why this camera doesn't want to focus. But after maybe a little bit more than a hopper full, I don't sort much more than that. Maybe 3-4 handfuls extra above and beyond, not like a full hopper, because it makes it easier to just kind of browse through the zinc pennies and make sure I didn't lose anything. Nothing in this batch, but for the coppers, I did get 2 King Georges, which I equate to the Canadian wheat leaf penny, and I got 1 wheat leaf. It's a 47. Pretty common to get them in the 40s, especially in these bags. But every once in a while, you'll get some of those older ones, 20s and even teens. So you just got to keep looking, but not bad for the first round. 2 King Georges. I've been shut out in the last couple of bags without getting any King Georges, but now this sort of catches me up a little bit. Get a couple here already in the first bag, and 1 wheat leaf. So we'll see how many we get. I'll get back to you after the next stop. Okay, diggers, I just wanted to show you this baby in action in case you haven't seen it before in one of my other videos. Sorry, it's a little bit loud, but you can see how fast it pushes them through. And they go through the mech here, and it is quick enough to sort them, and then drops them down here. I let that, the right hand side is the zinc, and I let that just about cover the bottom of the pan, and then I stop it. It makes it easier to just take a browse through them. I found many wheat leaf pennies. The older wheat leaf pennies are inconsistent in their copper, and so they get sorted into the zinc bin. As well, I even found a silver coin in there before. Not to mention your dimes and things like that, foreign coins. So you do have to look through them. As you can see, the ratio is pretty much 70-30 zinc to copper. Copper being on the left there. That's just the way it is. But I'll let you know if I get anything. Okay, diggers, here's a wind-up of the first bag of pennies. I just finished it up. I ended up getting 11 wheat pennies, which is, you know, on the very low end of my average. I average anywhere from 10 to 25 wheat pennies. But on the high side, I got 4 King George pennies. That's these right here. 4 of those. Canadian King George the 6th. And I also got some bonuses, 4 dimes. You know, a lot of times the dimes will come in with these pennies in the bags. You know, they just, I don't know if they catch on to the penny or how it happens, but the last bag I did, I had $1.70 worth. So that was a really good bag. And it sort of pays for the small fee that they charge me to take these back. When I go over $50, it's, I think, 3%. And I don't feel like waiting every other day to go to the bank. It's $50 per day at no charge, and then after that it's 3%. So, you know, it usually ends up being about like $1 or whatever. And, you know, I'm not going to be too worried about that. So, as you can see right now, I've got those on the left there are Canadian pennies that I've taken out that are copper. Zinc on the right there. So I got that full container of zinc, and then this one the same thing, almost all the way full. And some of those came from my wife. She brought me a small baggie full of pennies and 3 rolls of pennies, and I didn't get any wheat leaves out of there. Got quite a few Canadians that were copper, but you know, maybe a handful of those are from that bag, and that's about it. But the rest are copper. So the copper ratio on this particular bag was probably, I'd say 85-15 or maybe 82-17, something like that. Wasn't very good. Didn't get a lot of copper out of this particular bag. But, you know, that's kind of the way it goes. And so I'm going to dig into another bag and see how we do. Don't have much more room until I have to start sorting all my copper pennies. You know, I kind of look through them, you know, paw through them a little bit, looking for the wheats and the Canadians, and then, you know, when I get kind of tired of looking, I dump them in this big jar here, and then later I'll have to put them on that sorting tray over there and go through them just to make sure that there's no more wheat pennies or Canadians in there or whatever. And then they go into a jug. And I just filled this jug here, so I got it all labeled and it's ready to go into storage. I'll be taking that to the storage place. And I think it's my 4th or 5th one. So it's about half full, and I'd say it weighs about, close to 50 pounds, 45 pounds. And that's about all you want to do, because these start collapsing a little bit in on you from the weight if you go any higher than that. So I'm going to stop rambling, and I'm going to get into this second bag here and see how we do. I'll get back to you. Okay, diggers, coin roll hunters, I'm on my second bag. That first bag I ended up getting about 15 or 16 wheat pennies and about 4 dimes. And, you know, that's pretty much average. This bag, we'll see. I just filled up the hopper. The sound of it sounds like there's a lot of clad. The first one was probably 80-20 as far as zinc ratio to copper. So I'm going to get this one going and see how we do. I'm thinking there's a lot of zinc in there that I could see. So anyway, we'll turn it on and see how we do. Seems to be falling pretty good. You can see it's a little bit noisy, but man, it really sorts them nice. Keep that thing oiled and it'll do the job for you. You can see it spitting them out. One thing you can really notice, there's a big difference in color from the zinc to the copper, for the most part. I mean, every once in a while you'll get a nice shiny, usually they're like 1980, 1982. But for the most part, your coppers are going to have that brown patina. Your zinc's going to be the shiny copper color, for the most part. And that's why you can sort through them pretty easy and find stuff. So anyway, I'm going to get through this particular bag and maybe find something interesting. I'll let you know. Bag number 2. Okay, coin roll hunters, diggers. Sorting through my zinc pennies, and do you see something a little out of place there? Look close. It's an Indian. 1902. This is my first Indian that I've gotten searching these bags of pennies. All the pennies I've sorted from bags. I'm just looking through my zinc pennies. You got to do it. I can't emphasize it enough. When you use a sorter, you got to look through these pennies, you know, not one by one, but you just got to kind of move through them like this, and you can tell by the color almost always. I mean, you may miss one or two, but something like this you're not going to miss. The color, the patina. Woohoo! My first Indian coin roll hunting. 1902. It's a little bit worn, but hey, I'll take it. Awesome find right there. Almost as good as a silver for me. I'll take it. This was my first go around too. This is my first batch. I filled the hopper, added maybe 2 or 3 handful extra, and that's about it. I stopped it after that. And here we are. I haven't even looked at the coppers to see, you know, if I have any wheat leaves yet. I'm sure I must have some. Somebody dumped some old coins in here. This is a good sign. You never know what you'll get. I mean, it doesn't mean you're going to get a ton of stuff, but hey, somebody dumped out Grandma's pennies. I'll get back to you. Okay, diggers, so after just that first round, I looked through my copper, and, you know, I did a pretty good search looking through it. I mean, it's not all the way extensive. I'm going to have to look through the rest of those. But unbelievable. 7 wheat pennies. I got a King George, which is a Canadian equivalent of a wheat penny, and that Indian head penny 1902. That's not bad for my first little bin out of this bag. I haven't hardly touched it, but somebody dumped in some old coins in this bag. And if that's all I get, I mean, that's still unbelievably great. And I got the rest of the bag to go through. So I'll get back to you if something good happens. We'll see. It looks like it may. Okay, diggers, I just wanted to give you a couple of tips. I always keep this light shining down on my bins as I let the sorter sort. And that way I can kind of watch as things go into the barrels, and you'll catch stuff before you even pick them up to sort through them, you know, brush through them a little bit. Actually found a wheat leaf penny. There was about this many in there, and I saw the wheat leaf come tails up, and there it was. So Wheatie number 8 already out of this bag, and this is only the second bin full, and it's not even done yet. I haven't even finished it all yet, but I just wanted to stop to tell you, keep a light on your bins if you can do that, and watch them. I mean, I know it's you know, tending it. There's a lot of people that like to do this and just walk away. Well, I don't really think you can, because of the jams and things that happen to the machine, or just whatever. You don't know what might happen. Things you'll miss, like I saw when I was allowing a few more zincs than I normally do go into this pan. I happened to see the steel wheat leaf penny 43 fall into this bin, and sure enough, I checked it out later, and it was a steel wheat leaf. So there's that. And another thing to check for when you do look through your zincs is check your Canadian pennies. You'll see Canadians in there, and most of them will be the zincs, but every once in a while you'll see a zinc Canadian penny that slips through. So just another point or tip for you to look for when you go through these zinc pennies. And so far, that's how many coppers. I've already went through the zincs once and dumped them out. And I'm finishing up this the end of this bin, which is there aren't many left in there, as you can see. All right, I'll get back to you. Okay, diggers, here's the wrap-up of bag number 2, penny bag. I ended up with 17 wheat pennies. There were a lot of old coins in there. I have a lot of copper yet to sort through, so that number of 17 could go up. I did get one King George, as you see right there at the top, and then the great find is the Indian head penny, the 1902. But look at these. These are Queen Canadian pennies, but 3 in the 50s and 3 in the 60s. So definitely a lot of old coins. Not much light on this, but that's all of the wheat pennies right there. Not one dime this time. So didn't get any dimes in this bag, but I think this Indian head penny more than makes up for it. Awesome. 1902. There's the back. It's 1 cent. I live in an old house, almost, well, it's over 100 years old. And I only found one of these in my yard. I take that back. I found 2. I found a 1902 and an 1889. The 1889 was in my front yard. The 1902 was in the backyard. But interesting find in my pennies. And this actually went into the zinc bin, as I told you before. Check those zinc pennies when you're using a sorter. This is what I came out with as far as copper. And so I'll just go through those real quick and see if there's any more wheat leaf pennies. I'm only looking for a few key dates. 64 on the obverse, I'm sorry, on the reverse is an error coin, has some error coins, double die. It's worth quite a bit of money. I'm not going to look for any that's worth, a couple bucks. It's just not worth the time. But when I see a 64D, I do check those out. There are just tons of error coins out there. If you really wanted to get into that, you could do that. You could take a stack of pennies like this and just enjoy yourself for the whole winter looking for error coins. But I'm not into the smaller ones. I look for the ones that might make me a little bit of money and gain back some of the money I spent in gas. But other than that, I think I'm going to more than make that back with my wheat pennies and different finds that I'm getting, as well as all of the copper. So I'm sorry this is so long, and hope I didn't bore you. That's the end and result of bag number 2. I'll be getting to bag number 3 next.